are back. We are back, and we're together. Yes. I guess we haven't been together in a minute, at least a month. And we are talking all things married at first sight. We didn't realize, first things first, let's do some housekeeping. Bust down, subscribe to this channel, okay? Hello, you out there, bust down, subscribe. That's number one. Number two, Joe is home from being on tour. And how was it, honey?
It was really good. It was really tiring.
Yeah.
Because we didn't really get a lot of breaks. But overall, you know, getting it done in the middle of a pandemic still, it was pretty successful for having to you know, be a skeleton crew and get it done, with all of these like restrictions and weird stuff happening in certain places. So it was cool.
All right. Well, I'm glad you're home.
Me too.
And I can say that, like, honestly, like, I'm super glad. So, Joe and I kind of missed, or we didn't even miss it. Something wonky happened with episode 6. I don't know if we watched episode 6 early.
No. Or
then we watched it early. All them scenes we saw.
Yeah. So, it was something that happened weird. Somewhere in the middle of episode 6, they were like replaying scenes, it seemed like, that we already saw, but
I don't know. Something wonky happened, but the point is that I was bored with episode 6 any goddamn way. So the biggest takeaways are these 3 things, and then we're gonna get right into episode 7. First things first. First things first? Gil is a Republican.
He's absolutely a Republican, and it's not up for debate. So is Ryan's husband. Brett's husband.
Brett's husband is definitely
a
Trump supporter, and it kind of disappointed me though when, not to say that, and I want to be clear, I believe that black people are socially conservative first, and I think that there is a case to be made for us having relative Republican values, however, I think
conservative values. Republican values is very different.
Very, you're spot on.
Yeah.
You are spot on. Okay, so I guess the biggest issue that I had is, like I was saying, like, black people are typically socially conservative anyways. It just was the narrative that I'm just going to vote for whoever like speaks to my interest or whatever.
Yeah, he said something to the effect of like, whoever is doing stuff for my career,
as a firefighter, like let's be clear.
Yeah, like what does that even mean?
What do that mean?
Yeah, whoever does stuff for my career, that's who I'm going to vote for. And when people start talking like that, they might as well, to me, they instantly are. It's a bat signal that they are a card carrying Trump supporter.
1,000%, and he did not disappoint. And that was one of the first moments that I feel like Mirla kind of came through when she was like, "No, that's a deal breaker for me." Like,
straight up,
that's the problem. Like, first of all, and I guess another thing that annoys me, and you do see this a lot, and most races are like this, right? So his Latino people and Hispanic people are not exempt. But there is a portion of Latino and Hispanic people who identify with the culture that speaks Spanish and eat rice and beans, but not with the culture that is, immigrants or come here from unfortunate places. You know what I mean? And I think it's so messed up that we are literally talking about children in cages. Yeah. Like this, if we're speaking to the party that you're speaking to, we're literally talking about them putting children in cages from your direct descent. Yeah. And then you could sit up there and cape. Yeah. It makes it really evident to me that he has as much as I think he stands as a black man, a large black man who just so happens to speak Spanish, and I'm saying it like that on purpose, it's just like,
well, he's not going to describe himself as that. I don't think he would describe himself as a black man.
It's just,
I think he would describe himself as Latino.
Which he is all of those things, right? Right.
But I don't think he would add the black part.
I just feel like, and it makes me, the more I listen to Gil talk, the more I realize he is weird and I don't like it.
I think they are doing these couples a disservice, especially in this climate, by not talking more about these political stances. Like, it's too. This is the era that we live in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's too much of the elephant in the room in today's age for it to just not be. They should be talking about that in counseling. They should be talking about that in the interview process. You know what I'm saying? How do you vote?
Right.
Do you vote at all? How much weight do you put on what somebody votes or not, their opinion? How would you feel if you were matched with somebody who was a different political party than you were? How would you feel? Like, these are very important things. It's like ignoring that we're in the social media age, right? Which should also be talked about, right? How would you feel?
Handling that?
How would you feel if your spouse posts this? How would you feel if, you know what I mean? Like, these are things that couples, you know, maybe 20, 30 years ago, 10 years ago, maybe didn't even have to worry about.
Or they could even have had different views. Like, I believe that there's a population of people 10 years ago
who had different views, and it was fine because it wasn't so polarized. Because there wasn't a Donald Trump, there wasn't all of these crazy, you know,
and it wasn't a call to social action. Because the problem is that now it's become more social than political. Because now it's like, as a human, what do you believe?
Because it's not about a lot of the issues that become very polarizing are not about they're not about politics, which is why people are drawing very clear lines, like, I don't mess with this group of people.
1,000%.
Because if they don't have a problem with children being put in cages, or black people being shot in the street for no reason, or XYZ, then that's a human issue to me, and I can't sit at a table and break bread with somebody who doesn't bat an eye at these human rights issues, right?
Right.
So this is bigger than politics. It's cloaked in politics a lot of times so that we can skirt around it.
Yep.
But these are issues that, especially as a married couple, and should be on the table. And I feel like even Lifetime is skirting around it way too much for this to be on the heels of coming off a character like Donald Trump, and that polarizing and Black Lives Matter and all of these things. I mean, even just with the pandemic, like, that's something that, you know, a political party tried to politicize it. They tried to say when it started, and they have. When the pandemic started, you had a political party in America trying to make it the other political party's disease. Yeah. Like, no, COVID is created by the Democrats, and that's where it comes from. That's how we started in the pandemic. So for us not to be talking about these things, and Pastor Kyle not to be asking questions, how do you feel that, you know, he voted for somebody who said this about people that look like you? Right. That's a question that should be talked about, you know? So.
I agree 1,000%. But that's from episode 6. That was one of the big things we got. And the second thing is that Bow don't wash her ass. So
how about that?
There you go. And Johnny rightfully was taken aback by that.
Problem with it, as he should.
As the bigger issue for me is not that Bow doesn't wash her ass. It's that Bow will go to the gym, come home, work, do all these things, live a full life, and then get her stank nasty ass in the bed as if nothing has even happened. And that, to me, I'm gonna get this off my chest. I might bring it up again later, but I'm gonna get this off my chest right now. That, to me, is a violation of that's a human rights issue.
That's a human rights issue.
What? Explain to me. And y'all can let me know. This is a safe space. I'm going to judge y'all in my own heart, but I wouldn't say it out loud. Explain to me how y'all go through life and not wash your ass. Like, I mean, with a washcloth, scrub your skin, see the dirt roll up off you, hit your legs up too, because a lot of y'all don't hit your legs up. Get the back of the neck.
Especially as a woman, it's alarming because our women, I love the smell of my wife. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I come home and she could just be not even like trying to be dressed up, or not even, you know, just she could just be having maybe a lazy day, and she still smells like flowers and girls. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know. So that's kind of, as a man, that's kind of what
she does.
That's kind of what you mean. She smells like flowers? I don't think she smells like flowers.
I think she put on enough perfume.
No. No. Because some smells you cannot cover up. And I'm trying to tell you, it hits different when you're not cleaning down there.
I cannot. This is not the
it hits different. And we cannot just mull over the fact that I thought Johnny was going to bring it up when Pastor Kyle was asking him, and I was, you know what it was too? I think he had that in the back pocket, and they ended up.
I agree.
Yep, they ended up going and talking about her doing the kitty thing, but the kitty thing is not his first issue.
Because the kitty thing, rolling into episode 7, because all of this ties in, obviously. The kitty thing was not that, like, I understand what Pastor Kyle said, that that's a you issue, Johnny, and not a her issue. Because I think most women act like that, like when they around their man, like giddy and happy and all these things. So it just was really kind of like, I think, to your point, he said that not to say, y'all, she don't
smells.
wash her ass.
She smells.
Okay? Like,
she smells.
And I don't understand.
And it's a turn off. When I get close to her and I smell fish, it's a turn off.
But I don't think it's that. I think that.
What else? Look at his face. How could it not be that? But y'all,
when Pastor Kyle asked, what is it that he was like?
Yes. He made his face like, I really don't want to do this. Like, I don't want to. That's how you know it's bad. When somebody is like, I really don't want to do this. But
I don't want to go all the way in on Bao, because I've really been sitting around thinking about this. Believe it or not, she's been living rent-free in my head. And you know what I thought? I thought that 2 things. Maybe.
Can't be true.
No, I hate when he said that.
No.
So one thing is that maybe in her culture, because I'm trying to be sensitive to that, they have different hygiene routines that doesn't require them to shower every day. No. That was my first thing. My second thing was Bao herself says she didn't grow up the most having everything. They were relatively poor, for lack of a better word. So I thought maybe she has that's something that she learned. Like, I can't shower all the time. It's 3 boys in her, or 2 boys in her. Whatever the point is. The thing is that she lived in a house with a full family, outside of her father, I believe. And it's like, maybe it's a culture. She grew up just not handling those certain things. And I don't want us to like,
they wash their ass in Asian culture, so I'm not giving that to her.
I like Bao, and I really like her. Like her personality.
I like her personality,
and I think that she likes Johnny a lot more than she lets on.
I think she does too, but I also think that we can't give her excuses for not washing her ass.
And I'm
That's
not
inexcusable.
To
say I might go 3 times a week where I only wash.
I can't. It's hurting the back of my throat.
And then expect Johnny to be on board. But let me tell
y'all,
like,
what was the part for y'all? What was the part for y'all? Because the part for me was, I got a bidet, some toilet paper. It doesn't get cleaner than that. And some wipes. What?
She really said it doesn't get cleaner than that.
Girl.
No, yes it does.
Water
it does. It makes it way cleaner. Showers and baths. It gets way cleaner than a bidet. Way cleaner.
But so do you expect to put your pom pom in somebody's face? And this is I know this got real for y'all real fast. But you don't expect to throw it, throw a little back on somebody, throw it up in their face real quick. No, you got to be
Johnny
prepared for moments.
He is not catching that.
And he said that in his mind. But let me say something that I want to go back to the kitty thing, because I wrote down a note. And Johnny said that he felt like her and those like certain mannerisms kind of turned him off. And you know what it made me think? And y'all might not agree with this, but I think that Johnny watches a lot of porn. And I think that sometimes people bring their porn life to their real life like intimacy in their real life, so he think he's supposed to walk in Cinemax porn, Rico Suave, and she's supposed to like pull him in, and it's supposed to be so passionate and sexy. I think, and I'm only saying that based on certain things he said prior to, like, oh, can I watch and this and that. So now I'm making him like
say some,
you know what I mean. So I'm just kind of like maybe.
Okay, I can see that.
It's going against his kink or his like idea of sexuality.
The only reason why I can see where you landed, how you landed there.
Yeah.
The only reason why I initially didn't land there is because when they started playing back the replays of, I got it. I completely understood.
I thought she was cute.
You could tell that it wasn't like contrived. Like I'm like that was very like. Not in a cute way though. Like it was, she was doing those things, and it didn't come off as cute.
But I want to say something respectfully, and I don't want y'all to. And my girlfriend would be like, "You always say something. I'm gonna say it respectfully, and then say something disrespectful."
Well, that's what it means.
But no,
that's exactly
I'm actually saying something respectfully. Do you think that there is a culture, Asian culture? They like the Harajuku Barbies. The kitty, what's her name? Hello Kitty, all that stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yes, I know where you're going.
So it's something too.
Yes, no, yes, yeah. Even in their,
I think that's like culture.
They do like they.
Oh, I almost did something that was about to be so.
What?
I'll tell you later, but I'm glad I didn't do it, and I really like thought about it before I did it.
Okay, but yeah,
I don't want to be rude.
Even when you see like the sultry, take the advertisements that you see, like the sultry, like Asian advertising, or it might be like in Tokyo or something like that on the billboard or something. It's always like the naughty schoolgirl type thing. So I see where you going.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, that is a thing.
So I'm thinking, and maybe, and I'm trying to be respectful of like the culture, and like that might be really where she coming from too. Like that's what you see.
She might think, oh, this is what y'all like, right?
Let me tell y'all something. It's a show on Netflix, and it's like, I think it's called Sex Around the World or something like that. I was watching it for a bit, and they talk about that in how, you know, porn and things like that. Why did I stutter that? Porn and things like that are like created in that part of the world for like men and their appetite, their sexual appetite and everything like that. So,
well, it's also like this Asian thing where, you know, everybody is trying to look like a 16-year-old.
Yes.
You know what I mean? The guys honestly, are trying to look like a 16-year-old.
They don't crack either. We talk about black men.
You look at, we always talk about the what's the group BTS, the big the big K-pop group. We joke that they look like a bunch of white women, like a bunch of young white women, because that's they do. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that there's something to that.
Excuse me. How did you feel about Johnny leaving the apartment? So they come in the apartment, Bao inspects everything except for the soap and the water for her ass.
She does.
Everything but that. Okay.
Yeah.
And literally came in, and Johnny had enough.
Yeah, I thought that Johnny was wrong for leaving.
I agree.
And I thought it was like way too soon. Like y'all this isn't even like, you haven't even been there like 24 hours.
Yeah, something is up with Johnny, bro.
Well, we don't know what smells that he's taking in. And we don't know his tolerance.
I have to go.
Let's be real. Like, we don't know what the tolerance is. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has different tolerance. You know what I mean?
I'm not gonna let you do that.
And it's true, like, you know. So, but I'm not gonna make excuses for him. I think he was wrong for leaving, especially that soon. Like, it's not like y'all have been, you know, in the crib struggling, fighting it out for weeks or something like that.
It's weird.
You just got back and was like, I'm gonna leave.
Unless they're the type of people, you ever be around people and they are fighting and you're in the room.
Yes.
And the energy,
it's crazy.
It's so tense. Maybe they're those kind of people, and they would never yell at each other.
But I think I think that Johnny spoke to his tendency to just want to bounce whenever there was adversity. Yeah. And I think that
makes me think that he's addicted to porn. I'm not playing. It's a study. It's a study, and y'all should look it up. Where young men are having issues, one, committing to women, and two, having long stamina and everything like that, because of their addiction to porn.
I'm not gonna put that on. It's like so soon.
I just threw that
did. We took a leap. But I do think that this is what he talked about manifesting himself, about how he later talked about it later in the episode, about how he's like really flighty. Like shit get weird and I bounce, and that's what happened.
Well, we bounce into the next couple. So Jose and Rachel, I really don't even want to talk about them because I don't want to say I don't want to talk about them. That wasn't nice. Sorry, y'all. So Jose and Rachel get home. They're super cute. I actually really like Jose and Rachel. I think the only thing I don't like is for Jose to have had come on Married at First Sight to actually get a wife. He got a lot of demands for somebody who met his wife at the altar.
Well, I think just not being used to this process, like which nobody's used to this process. Everybody got thrown in or jumped in.
I'm talking about the self-awareness of it all.
No, I don't think any of them have self-awareness.
They all lack it.
Yeah.
I mean, but him, if we had to rate them, it's like Mirla, him.
Yeah.
Like if we're talking about the self-awareness scale about what we're doing here. Yeah. You know what I mean?
But I don't think nobody. But
you're right.
I've yet to see a person, especially in the early stages of filming, not like look like they understand that they signed up to marry a stranger.
And we also got to stop talking about being the same person. I really that's been a common theme since we've been watching this show. Why do y'all think, and y'all answer this question, why do y'all think that you need your spouse to be the same person?
And it's just the farthest thing from the truth.
It is the
where did y'all get that? Was it a movie? Or like, I don't know.
I don't understand it.
It doesn't make sense. And I would even go further and say that the thing that is, personally, I think the things that me and my wife have to hurdle the most over are the similarities that we have.
Oh my God.
It's not even the differences. It's like, because we alike in the same way and we do the same fucked up shit to each other. That's the biggest hurdles that you know what I mean? It's not I agree. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, there's certain things that we are alike that make it easy for us to be together. But like, sometimes that's the biggest hurdle.
But I think you're so spot on, babe. But you've been doing that a lot today, so I don't know what's going on. But I do think that there is something to having the same ideology, but being different people. Yeah. We have the same outlook on what the relationship will look like. Yeah. But we are different human beings.
And we gotta be to make this machine work smoothly. Because have you ever been on a team where everybody does the same thing? The team is terrible.
But that's why I like to know your face.
Like, what do you mean? Like, you don't want to be. You need somebody who does this. You need somebody who's great at this, and who the differences make the links stronger. It's the differences, like where
diversity and inclusion. Yeah, that's why they have these whole motherfucking business units.
Literally,
because they understand that all these different perspectives are so important to make this thing run. Yeah, and I think it's so weird that they're just like fighting that.
Oh my God, you have a bidet. I have a bidet. That means we're. This is why we were matched. Because we both like water.
But he first of all, not to even go to somewhere else, but he politely told her, "You will not use this bidet. Then you had to bring your bidet from your bidet, and then put your bidet in the new bidet. But you won't be using my bidet." That's what he said.
It was too much.
It was too much. I just wanted to take that. I wanted because you brought it out. But I do think it's really. I like what Pastor Kyle said when he said, "You're the science and she's the art." And because I didn't like how he was kind of like shutting her down with the travel thing. It was just giving very weird. It was giving very a place of lack. He has all of these things. Yeah. All of these things. All of these material things. But can't understand why experience in life is so important. And experiencing things with your spouse. Yeah. Me and him have to have that conversation too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I get it. You want to get to the money. You want to do this and but we need to have experiences too.
And it's the balance. Sometimes, and I was just saying this to a friend of mine, sometimes it's the balance that you need that you didn't necessarily know you were getting in this package, right? Yes. So maybe you are a super workaholic, but you meet somebody who loves to take downtime and take time off and have experiences. You being a workaholic is great at all, but it's not healthy. It's not healthy to not sleep and not get rest and not shut your brain off and all of these things.
And so only pay bills.
Right. And so it might be God's, the universe, whatever you subscribe to's way of bringing the thing that you're lacking into your life. It might be a person who shows up in your life who draws you out of whatever your day-to-day is and gives you that breakup that you need before you burnt out just doing whatever it is that you do.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's another part of just him not knowing that and not being ready for this process as far as like being able to release certain areas of his life to his spouse. And being like, okay, let me lean in. She likes to go on vacation. I don't vacation at all. Now I'm vacation. Now you gotta be open. Now you might love it. You know what I mean?
1,000%. Well, I think that's what happened here. Yeah. I think that in the beginning it was anxiety for him until it got to a point where it's like, first of all, we going, whether you anxious or not. And I think that once you get like in the swing of things, it's kind of like, okay, this is our life.
Yeah.
We work and we play, you know what I mean? And I think that that's okay. And I think that he's so high strung, and what I do like about her a lot is that he'll say something. He pulled up the pencils, like, why do you need all these pencils? And she was like, I can't have my own desk. And I like that she challenges his thoughts in that manner, because it's not disrespectful.
Too much of everything, man.
You think?
Yeah, he can't do anything. If he give her a cup of water, she like, I can't get my own water. Like she too challenged. It's like she gotta tune it down.
But you know what? Part of it is she has to be independent, which
But you're married. You're not independent. You are a half of a whole. So this idea that I gotta do this myself, I gotta do that myself, so I could feel like I'm doing my part. Like no, there is not. There's a.
But she saw that house and thought, I'm gonna get in where I fit in.
Did she? I don't even know that she did that.
Hilarious. She saw that budget board and was like...
freaked out.
Which is so weird to me. I mean, is that weird?
It is weird because she said, I wanted somebody who was what we just talked about, who had a strength where I was weak, and I want you to help me in the financial area.
And the finances
she said that.
And that's what I think is weird. Like, it's like... So, full disclosure, Joe is much better with money than I am, okay? I get money hand over fist, so I kind of spend money hand over fist. But you know, right? Is that an accurate description?
You've been spending since high school. When
it's a lifestyle.
So it was a learned thing.
It is, and I tell him all the time, like my mother, if we were sad, if we were happy, if she was sad, if she was happy, we would just go shopping.
Right.
And
so
now,
it makes sense. Yeah.
It's like really one of those things that it's almost uncontrollable for me. So I told him, like, I'm almost at the point, and I know somebody's going to be out. I'm about to tell you our business a lot. And I'm just like almost at the point where I'm ready to deposit my check in his account and him just give me what he thinks I need to have, because that's how out of control I am. So I'm like, I'm out of control. And I think that, you know, it's something to deferring to the person who's just better at things. Because there's things that I'm just better at. You know what I mean?
Straight up. And I will literally just be like, do this for me.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
No, literally. Like, that's what he'll do.
We had an issue in Vegas with my credit report. Not to no fault of my own, but I just called her like, can you fix this? You know what I mean? So, because she's the numbers person in the house.
Believe it or not.
Believe it or not. It's weird. It'll make sense later. It'll make sense later.
I am the numbers person in the house, but it's just like, it's hard when you're used to getting it. When you're used to getting money, it's hard not to spend money, bro. But we ain't talking about this. I just think that he has to get used to operating from a space of abundance and living his life abundantly, and then I think they'll be in a greater space. You know what I mean? So let's move on to, let's talk about Brett and Ryan. Look at the Brett and Ryan first, because they don't have much going on. And you want to know, I think that they are a sleeper couple.
I would agree with that. I actually, the more I watch them together,
the more you get it.
The more I get it, and the more I like them. together, and the more that I like them as individuals. Like Brett got on my nerves a little bit more in the beginning, and so did Ryan. But now seeing them interact with each other, I think they're bringing out a brighter side of each other as individuals, which is making them more likable to me as individuals and as well as a couple.
The only thing about Brett that kind of is a red flag for me is that she's always worried.
Yeah.
She is like a big anxious ball. She is. And I feel like, I know you still don't know who, let me look at Youre up. I know you don't know who Youre is, but some of y'all do because I'm aging myself. She really is Youre. Like every time she comes on the screen, I immediately know that she's going to feel like, honestly, Youre.
Yeah, she's a. I know.
I immediately know she's going to say something that's like,
I'm
scared. I'm nervous. I don't like it. I'm sad.
She's a little bit.
I don't want to do that. Like
a negative Nancy, yeah.
But it's weird because I feel like in her, that's why he's so good, because he's not. Yeah. And he's really one of the, but he's patient too. Yeah. And I think that means something. Like, you know what I mean? And I feel like that's where she definitely needed it, because Lord knows she's a pain in my motherfucking ass. Yeah.
Because people who are like deadbeat downers / high strung like that, they'll bring you down. You be like, God damn. Like, it's a perfect example of the thing that happened with the dogs, right? The whole time I'm just like, let the dogs just chill and let the dogs. And then you saw Michaela and whatchamacallit? Zach just, their dogs were snapping at each other a little bit, and then they took them off the leash, and then the dogs it wasn't no pit, like they wasn't really about to throw down. They just do their little barking, and then they like, oh, okay, like we really not about that life. And so Ryan was trying to tell Brett, like, just relax. And she was just like, oh my God, put him back in the car. She left the little dog. The dog is about the size of my hand. And he's barking at a giant poodle. He don't want it with this poodle. He just doesn't. If you just let him get his barking out or whatever, he just gonna bark and that's it. You know what I mean?
But a big part of having a pet also is that they're very in tune with their master. Well, I don't want to say their masters, but their parents. And I feel like you were worried. Yeah, and the dog picked up on your anxiety. Right. And now he like, oh, this is what's making you anxious. Yeah. That's how I picked it up, because I'm like, girl, if you relax, the dog will relax.
Yeah, that's the thing too.
You know what and don't get me wrong, some of y'all got some badass dogs. Yeah. And y'all know who y'all are. Your dog, if I walk into your house and your dog jumping up on me, that's a badass dog. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, period. It's period. But I think that, like, that's what Baxter is, and that's what he said, like, you're going to put Baxter in the garage. Baxter don't know how to act. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But they go in the house in another way where she was just like conflating and making things super bigger than they had to be. Was a goddamn deer head on the wall. He's a grown ass man with his own home. And he hunts. The idea that made you like so taken aback. It's so fascinating.
Well, there are people out here which I don't know. I'm sorry. Like, I don't know what to do about it. But they are very sensitive to like the killing of animals and big game hunting.
That ain't her.
I don't know, but even in that thing, I'm just like we gotta eat, you know.
Period. But I like them still.
I do.
I like them, and I think they're gonna be fun to watch. Yeah. And I think that they can work too, and they look good together. And I can see it. So I'm excited about them. Yeah. Let's get to another couple that I'm not too excited about, and that's Gil and Mirla. Mm-hmm. I have so many issues with Mirla. It's not even funny. She really stresses me out, and I think it's because being a young woman who is fabulous and loves fabulous things.
Cause I do see a lot of similarities between my wife and Mirla.
I know. I think,
and I don't say that in a negative way.
No, I don't take it that way. Yeah. I think that she's
fabulous.
She's fabulous.
And she fly, and she a girl, and that's the type of girls that I like. So that's why early on when everybody was like, you know, freaking out because Amelia like this or she don't like that or she particular about that, I was just like, that doesn't bother me, like, because my wife is particular. So to me, I'm just like,
and I'm fabulous.
That's a girl, and she fabulous. And I want girls to be girls. So maybe this is just a me thing. You know what I mean?
It is a you thing.
Like,
because I think because you think she's cute and fabulous and all these things, I think we're missing the actual who she is. Because I think that, and I think even for myself, I have, personally, I know I have traits that's not the most attractive, especially because I'm very matter-of-factly. And I think because I make this money, this amount of money, and I do this and that, I can do whatever I want to do, and I don't care what you. I got that kind of energy too, but that's not.
But my thing is, most women of your fabulous, beautiful stature are the same way. That's
True.
why, because that's why I was watching. I'm like, what Jones is y'all out here?
True.
What cute women, beautiful women who are successful and beautiful? Where y'all finding them at? Because the ones that I've ever been around act like Mirla. You know what I mean?
Which I agree.
So that's why I'm like, this is weird. Like y'all out here dating y'all homies that's cutting your hair at the barber shop and look like you and dress like you. Cause I don't know any beautiful, successful, particular women that aren't like, we're not going to that hotel.
I think what it is for me is more that I don't see beautiful, successful women, and I mean this respectfully, even to all the women that have already been on Married at First Sight, that are on Married at First Sight.
That's true.
Or that need to be on Married at First Sight. So seeing like a relationship grow from the infantile stages, we have the unique perspective to see not so great traits of people. Okay. Even though the more I watch her, the more I think it's Gil that bothers me.
Well, that's because
Gil
is doing more things that is bothersome. Then we get
and that's the truth.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. And to your point, and maybe I should backpedal on Pussy Pie. To your point, I think that she doesn't actually bother me nearly as much as now that I think about it. I think it's more him. Because I do think she does things where I feel like personally maybe it's like weird to me. Like if you in a place where you get married at first sight, you should be a little bit more open to certain things.
Yes.
And I'm not talking about kissing. I'm talking about something just as small as being like, it's not that you allergic to dogs. It's not, you just don't have a dog and you don't like dogs. Yeah. And so it's not like if I'm meeting somebody and they have a good dog, which he had a really good dog.
Because he was in the corner and he did not move.
And he did not move and started crying when he said sit.
Yeah, he did.
To me, it's like you should, and she did. She put her hand out and everything. It's just, even him pulling her over the threshold, that's a good example. He brought her over the threshold.
She was so unbothered.
It just kind of
that's problematic.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like, oh, I ain't supposed to be here, but I'm here.
Yeah.
Which then means this where you supposed to be.
But also, there's something to, men are very simple beings. And there's something to, treating them in a similar way that you got to treat a kid.
1,000%.
You got to give a kid like some, oh my God, you did that on your own? Like you got to give a kid a little bit of that. You know what I mean?
If you my girlfriend, ask me if I have not said that to you.
It's true. Men are the same way.
You just got to be like,
so if you so unbothered by everything I do, like it's gonna what happens with dudes is the first person outside the house who is not unbothered is going to catch their eye. And she could be hit.
Nothing like you.
And you know what I'm saying? And so you have to give a little bit more, and she's so unbothered by everything. And it's going to turn him off.
But the indifference.
Yeah.
The indifference is what bothers me. Because it's like, you see these little moments. Like she bought them chocolate chip cookies, and you saw her like shine a little bit. But it's like, also, I feel like men do things to get certain reactions out of their spouse.
Absolutely. And if it ain't working, I'm not gonna do it again. Like if I bring home flowers and you like, oh, that's cool.
Right.
Guess who's not getting flowers again? I'm like, well, that didn't work.
Exactly. I agree completely. And I think, but to your point, but I don't want to really bash her because I think this is a Gil issue because he constantly talking about how fabulous she is.
He is always, oh my God. Yeah, it's definitely.
But somebody commented on her place, right? And I started thinking about that too because somebody gonna say She had all that to say. She in that small ass.
But that's what I said. Now that's what I said. Like you doing all of this, which is also very evident that talking about the finances, that your Joan ain't all the way straight, because you got 10,000 Louboutins in here, but you got to tiptoe around your bed because it doesn't fit in your bedroom.
Oh, don't do that.
Like,
so don't do that.
It's one thing to be fabulous and have expectations,
yes,
but it's another thing to be ghetto fabulous.
And I think that's what she is. And that's what we need to call it. But then I thought, maybe she's in like one of the most expensive communities.
I doubt it.
But just got a smaller place. You know what I mean?
I doubt it. You spending your money in the wrong areas.
Well, Pastor Kyle asked her, are y'all kissing and are you opposed to that? And then when she said she just didn't want to do that, yet he rolled his eyes, and that really sent me, because he understands the assignment.
Yeah.
Y'all, like, literally, y'all got only this short amount of time before y'all make a big decision, number one. Number two, you're married. When he heard that the other people was having sex, who was it? Jose and Rachel. He said good. And then told her, like, I'm glad y'all leaning into being married people.
Yeah.
Which, that's may be what I'm trying to say when I'm like, why are we acting like this is a big deal? Like, you know, nobody's going to judge you. We're not saying, so we know if he ain't going to get kissed, he for damn sure ain't getting no pum-pum. Yeah. So it's like, and I would argue he won't even get it after this.
Yeah.
And this whole being Karen, you know what I mean, from the last, or from New Orleans or whatever, like, nobody liked Karen. And guess what? We still the fuck don't like her. You know what I mean? Like, and
even when I see them like on a YouTube,
I'm not convinced. I never even clicked.
I feel bad for him still.
I'm not convinced. I have never been so viscerally not convinced about somebody loving another human being in my life. Usually I mind my business.
Because Karen is another one who's super unbothered by everything. And that is like,
but then
that makes me sad, because I'm like, I'm like, I personally know 3 women that do backflips for you, bro. Like, I'm thinking that, like, personally, like, I could hook you up right now, and they will be, oh my God, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, I feel bad, because I feel like in that season he was a great guy, and you know what I mean?
Amazing.
And I feel like it's so many women out here who would be given all of everything we just talked about. They would be given all of that energy. Yep. You know what I'm saying? And Karen is just like, oh, okay.
And I just can't. And I feel like it's giving that. And I'm like, you know what, sis? When he turned around, looked her in her eyes and said, if I don't get a kiss before decision day, I'm just gonna ask for divorce. And he's absolutely right to do so.
He is.
First of all, that's why mine look like a nut. Am I lying?
Yeah, yes.
It looked like a nut. You know what I mean? And how he
because everybody was like, Miles should have been left.
Child, I can't.
That's why people is out here calling Miles a simp.
I really want to snatch this wig off. That's how annoying they. Even talking about them really irks my spirit so much that the wig cap up under here is shifted and moving, and I ain't got time. I just can't do it with y'all. I can't. So let's talk about Michaela and Zach. And I left them for last because I feel like this is fascinating.
It's a little scary to me. I'm worried for Zach. I don't know how this is going to end for Zach. And I don't think it's going to end good.
Well, so, 2 things that was weird. He texts her and tells her that he has COVID, or he still is testing positive, so he won't be home until the following day, right? Mm-hmm. But then the doorbell rings, and she runs to the door. Was that weird to y'all?
There was a camera already in her apartment, so she knew that Zach was coming because they was filming. Like, I don't know why they do. It was just bad acting. It was very bad acting. She ran to the door. Yeah. Which I love that she was excited to see him and everything like that. But she a little too excited. Is it me? And I'm sorry. I don't mean this in it. She's just like, it's a red flag to me. Like, you don't even know this guy. You run into the door like you are about to see your man of 2 years show up. You know what I mean? Is it me? That's a little scary, which didn't surprise me why she flipped the way she did when he woke up in the morning and left the house and didn't like wake her up to leave. Let's backpedal though. Before she did that, they talked about toxic behaviors when fighting, and she said leaving and abandoning an argument
is toxic and abusive, which for everybody out there, that's exactly what it is. It's
they
emotional
wasn't in
abuse,
an
and that's what
argument.
narcissist. That's my point, and that's what narcissists
what is
do.
happening?
No, 1,000%. So
which
then,
is why I think he was like, "What is happening? We weren't in an argument. Like, I just woke up
they
and went to take my dog
were,
somewhere."
unless they. I mean, I don't know.
They weren't
This
though.
whole-
She said they wasn't. He said they
That's
wasn't. They
true.
had a night. He said, you know what I mean? He fell asleep, woke up, went to take the dog to the dog.
I have
house
so
thing.
many issues.
And
with
then
this.
she snapped. Like they was like
y'all.
she snapped, bro.
The scariest thing that I saw, and he didn't see this obviously because we're watching it, is when she slammed the Clorox wipes on the table. Girl, what is wrong with you? I have first of all, one thing I cannot stand is an adult temper tantrum. And a lot of you do it. A lot of you do it, okay? But these adult temper tantrums where you think you got to roll around on the floor, act the fucking fool for people to feel a certain way towards you is too much. And I'm going to take it a step further, and you're not going to like it, but I'm going to say it anyway. We're also not going to use the death of your father as a reason why we excuse your piss poor behavior.
Yeah, that.
We're not going to do that. And I mean that respectfully. I do believe that people go through trauma. I believe that that's a thing. 1,000%. However, you did not equate that with your father. It's no way. You equated that with the last motherfucker you dealt with who got out on you. And then Pastor Kyle gave you the daddy thing.
Yeah. He wove that in there.
He wove that in
nicely.
there. That ain't what you was thinking. You think he was out there effing and sucking at 7 a.m. in the morning.
That's what was weird. Like, this wasn't at night. He wasn't like, you know, up in the middle of the night creeping. He woke up in the morning, and I would prefer you not to wake me up if you leave the house at 7 in the goddamn morning.
That's what Joe does to me. So, like, which annoys the mess out of me. So I do understand her annoyance, but
I do this out of courtesy.
And he does.
Like when I wake up, because she wakes up super early on a Monday through Friday basis. So most of the time when I'm up early, it's on a weekend like this weekend when I have a day where I have a very early a gig, and I gotta wake up super early to get there. I think I gotta wake up like 5:30, 6 a.m. to get there. I do my best to tiptoe around the room so I do not wake her up because I want her to get her sleep. You know what I mean? But she's never waking up like, where the f*** you at? Like, you know what I mean? Like I done left the house at 2 a.m. and didn't come back. Like, you know what I mean? It was weird.
Because I think the bigger issue here is that he didn't communicate anything.
Which I get that, but the punishment didn't fit the crime.
At all.
You flip, like you call him inside of another woman. You would have thought that it was like red-handed, pants down, the way she flipped and was throwing a Lysol bottle, like you would have thought they was really, like he really got caught in some shit.
It just was mad. I agree 1,000%, and I feel like I understand what Pastor Cal was trying to get at, but it's like, sis, first of all, a lot of times people do that to you to gauge your engagement. Does that make sense? People sometimes throw tantrums, especially when you're in a new relationship, just to see how invested you are.
I feel like she would be doing weird
It's
stuff.
manipulative.
I think she would do a lot of weird stuff.
I think that has something to do with it. The whole time I was thinking like, girl, first of all, the problem is that she's valid by saying that you should communicate with me. Yeah. But this is a man who's been a husband for a week.
Literally. Like, just tell him that.
I tell people, like, when the human beings that we are now versus when I first moved to LA, we've done a 180. And it's like, even being in two different spaces in our lives, like we were in two different spaces when I moved here, and seeing how we fought differently and like we handle things differently, or we even leave the house differently. It was like a rude awakening, and I had to stop because I think I got to the point where I was like, oh no, I'm done with this. Like, I can't do this any longer. And then I thought, that's not fair. Like, you know what I mean? You gotta give people the opportunity. You gotta communicate what you need and give people the opportunity to show up, because people do get used to, believe it or not, more often than not, we bring what we did in the previous situation into the new situation.
And it's not one size fits all. Like,
and it's not.
Yeah, you have to do what works for your relationship.
1,000%. And you gotta contort yourself.
Yeah.
You gotta do a couple, you move a little bit, and y'all might be moving like this, and then, you know, when it's working, you moving like, okay, we getting this. And I think that comes with time. So in our experience, I thought it was unfair to be like, okay, no, I can't do this. I'm done with this, whatever the case may be. Because it's like, this is new for him and it's new for me.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, are you going to give it a chance? So it's like, I think that for her to do that and spew that energy so soon, it can only get lower from here.
And it was clear to me that she was triggered.
1,000%.
And whatever it is that got you at this point so soon, so
and it wasn't
fast,
the daddy. The daddy didn't.
Whatever
and maybe it was a little bit.
Whatever
but
it was, this is a, like Pastor Cal told, what you call him, this is a you issue. You got to this point because of something that's deep down that you got to deal with. Because Zach was sitting there like.
But you know what Zach said? It's motherfucking funny to me. And I said, oh. Yeah. You better have it. And then she was calling him a lie. You a motherfucking lie. Like,
I mean, he just might as well have been on the phone with another woman. But, like, the energy was just too much for me. It was really like, it was this.
Oh, 1,000%.
And it was like, why does he deserve that? Like,
and also, all the people that are in new relationships, don't do that. That creates an environment where it only gets lower from there, and it's a race to the bottom. Yeah. And it's like, then you create a situation that becomes it can grow to be abusive.
Yeah, because this wasn't that big of this was not a big.
And I don't think
argument.
To call somebody a liar is so nasty and it's so mean, and you're only saying it to be nasty and mean. Yeah. You're not saying it to, like, you know, big them up or help them be greater at life. You're saying it to be mean. And I feel like to even initiate that kind of language, I remember back in the day, we used to get popped in the mouth. You couldn't call nobody like, you had to say, oh, you told a story. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, I think that you have to take that into your relationship.
But Michaela very, very much so strikes me as somebody who is nuts. A basket case. Like, she is emotionally a wreck. And I think that she is going to explode all over Zach's life. Like, he's not ready for hurricane, which they very accurately label her. Hurricane, we saw a little piece of hurricane. A little bit. And I think that was the tip of the, like, she just strikes me as like she's emotionally a wreck. And she's not going to be able to handle a lot of things that should be small spats and just like a little molehill. She's not going to be able to handle that stuff. And I think that's what we're going to see coming up. I'm
just really nervous. I didn't like the whole tensing up when he tried to touch her.
I didn't
like it. Was very manipulative
and immature. She strikes me as immature too.
Well, she said that they both are inexperienced when it comes to these kind of relationships, and it's very clear. And I think that even with her sisters, I think she could be hella manipulative. So it's coming out as these temper tantrums, these adult temper tantrums, and it's just not a good look. And y'all speaking to a person who used to throw adult temper tantrums. Like, that's something I used to do. But, you know, I done got my life together and everything like that. So it's like, when I see it, I know it. Like, you know what I mean? It's just manipulation. Like, that's all it is. Like, you know what I mean? And it's just, and don't get me wrong, he was lying. But he was lying. I don't know. Something about the story felt.
The fact that this all happened at 7 a.m. in the morning just seemed to me like, what the fuck are we talking about?
But to her point, the only thing to her point was he could have very well been tired, right?
What do you mean?
You haven't seen your wife in 8 days. You don't make it a point to get in the bed with your wife?
Wait, I'm confused. So what are we talking about now?
The same night, the night before they had the blow up, right? The night before he left in the morning, he went to the other room to make sure the dog went to sleep.
Oh, I see. Okay. But he was in the apartment. You know what I mean?
No.
Right? No?
I feel you, but I think the bigger picture is if you come from off tour.
No. I get that. But what I'm speaking to is like the squinty eye Michaela, like. He in another room and you looking at him like it's a woman.
No.
You know what
I'm saying that coupled with the fact that you didn't communicate. So I didn't sleep with you the night before. Then you just leave the house. It gives me room to create a story.
I just thought that the story was a big leap.
I'm not saying that it wasn't. I'm just saying she was provided the room to do so. And that's what
I don't think that Michaela needs a lot of room to make these leaps.
Well, I'm trying to.
She strikes me. You know what I mean?
Y'all tell us what y'all think.
She strikes me as the type that she don't need a lot of room.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I just feel like she stressed me out. I kind of wanted a volume in a glass. Oh, let me not say that.
A volume?
Lord Jesus, they're gonna block this goddamn video. That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant.
I was not ready for that.
She obviously had an episode. It was stressing me the hell out. It's just the whole thing. The whole thing stressed me out. I don't know. Let us know how you feel. Like, what did you guys think about this episode? Who is in the catbird seat for you this week, babe?
It's definitely Brett and Ryan.
I could not agree more. It's definitely Brett and Ryan. What do you guys think? Bust down. Let us know what you're thinking about. Did we accurately, talk about these things? If we didn't, tell us